Hi, I am Samir, a narcissistic abuse recovery coach, a certified trauma specialist. In this video, we're going to dissect 5 peculiar eating behaviors commonly exhibited by narcissists. However, before we dive in, it's important to note having these habits doesn't automatically classify someone as a narcissist. Human behavior is nuanced, and individuals exhibit a wide spectrum of actions. So let's maintain an open-minded approach and consider the broader context. Alright, let's unravel these culinary quirks and uncover how they align with the narcissistic mindset. Brace yourselves, because you're about to gain some eye-opening insights. As a kid, I hated to eat with my family, especially when my father was around. You may wonder why. Well, he had some weird and toxic eating habits that would make sharing a meal with him a very painful experience. Instead of letting you fill your tummy with food, he would fill it with stress and trauma. I remember always leaving the gathering in a torn-apart state, feeling confused and just shaming myself for not making an excuse to avoid eating with him. Now that I look back, I can recognize that these toxic habits were extremely abusive and very stressful to deal with, which is the reason why I am creating this article today. In this article, I will talk about the 5 weird eating habits of a narcissist. Important disclaimer, I'm not in any way saying or suggesting that people who may have these weird eating habits are narcissists. That would be a foolish generalization to make because people are unique and have a unique set of behaviors. Some people can have weird eating habits without being narcissists. Just keep that in mind. You cannot look at this set of weird behaviors in isolation and consider it as a diagnostic criterion for narcissistic personalities. This in isolation means nothing. You have to look at the bigger picture and see these habits as a collective manifestation of their need for control, power, and thirst for supply. Here are 5 weird eating habits of a narcissist. Number 1. They behave animalistically when eating. Now, nothing against animals, I'm just helping you understand how their behavior may look like. They make really loud noises, have zero table manners, do not respect other people who are eating around them, do not cover their mouths, and they make these weird sounds like they just want to fill that bin in there. They don't care what they're eating or how much they're eating, they just want to engulf it all as if they have not seen food for years, and this is the last quantity they will ever get their hands on. It's crazy to understand, but that is how it is, especially with cerebral narcissists who are brain-centered, who are computer-like in their nature and are completely dissociated and disconnected from their bodies. They do not care about what they are wearing, how they look, how they smell, and so on. It's all in their heads. I remember asking my father once, "How does the food taste?" He took a pause, looked at me while taking in food, and asked, "What do you mean by how does it taste?" "What is taste?" These are his words, "what is taste?" I was taken aback. I thought maybe he was kidding. You are a human being, and of course you have the capability to taste things, don't you? That's what made me think they don't have a sense of taste or texture, they don't care about it. He told me, literally, I was shocked. He told me, "If you were to give me cattle feed and mix it with some salt, I'll eat it as well. It doesn't matter. One should have something to eat, and that is enough." Now one may think, oh, that's so humble of him. Of course not. He was disgusting when it came to what he ate and how he prepared it. The crazy thing is, they start a fight if you make a request and ask them to chew quietly. It's bothering me. Can you just keep it quiet a little bit? Can you close your mouth when eating? Please? No, they will perceive it as criticism or some form of attack. It's not like you're making up the problem or you're shaming them. Clearly, they are not eating like a human being, and you're eating around them. It's your right to be at peace and to eat calmly, but they are stealing that away. That is entitlement. It's not wrong to ask a person to just behave normally, but they don't consider that aspect. It's all about them, and how dare you question their behavior? For it is perfect. And there must be something wrong with your ears. Go get them checked. You're hearing a lot nowadays, that's what they would say. Number 2. Some narcissists experience a delugasm when eating. Delusion plus orgasm makes it delugasm. Let me explain it further to you. My father used to tell us all sorts of stories when eating. He would intentionally wait and watch us all come together. The moment we would start eating, there he goes, talking about his day and how he shamed a certain person, how he belittled the person who works under him, how he received all the admiration in the office, and how everybody was admiring him, and how he defeated his colleagues at work and proved he knew more than them. It would not stop there. He would go on to relive the same excitement he felt when bringing those people down in reality or in his fantasy. We as observers, especially me, could see that grandiosity, arrogance, pride, entitlement, delusion, and narcissism oozing out of his facial expressions as he kept on living that fantasy. Nobody knows if he was feeding us a bunch of lies or telling the truth, but how is it possible that he was the only person to win every single time, or he was the hero or the savior in every situation he would share with us? This is the reason why I call it a delergasm, because for these people to narrate these stories is like experiencing an orgasm, but of course of their delusions. They live their fantasies and they feel the excitement as they get supply from those who are listening. Back then, as children, we believed it, which is what we call a shared fantasy. His fantasy became our fantasy. I remember imagining him doing those things he would share with us, things he would talk about, that got all of us curious. He got our attention. We would listen, we would nod our heads, and we would ask questions, especially his covert narcissistic wife, who pretended to listen only to give him supply and to make a fool out of him. Number 3. Some narcissists eat meticulously as if seeking perfection. This is the opposite of number 1. Narcissists are controlling and rigid in general, but some manifest that controlling nature when eating. They do not exert that control only on how they are eating, but also on how others are eating around them, which is crazy. They would want you to sit a certain way. They would want you to have certain table manners, and it's not about having table manners. It's all about how they want you to chew, what they want you to look at, what they want you to touch, in what manner, and how they want you to place a spoon. This is not a show. Well, for the narcissist, everything is a show. In their crazy delusional mind, they act as if it's a performance and they are being watched. One small mistake and you get psychologically tortured. Why? Because you disrupted the show. It's a grand show of which you are a part. You make it possible for them. It's a performance. Why don't you understand? It's a very fake thing going on. You can't be yourself. There is no room for it. So how dare you express yourself? How dare you eat in a particular way? Why did you look at your brother when eating? This is crazy. This is cruel. This is robotic. But that is how it is with these narcissists, who tend to be more somatic in nature. They tend to be attracted towards elegance and perfection, but it's all about control. It has nothing to do with elegance, it has nothing to do with sophistication. It's all about being extremely controlling and exerting that control on others. Number 4. They control you using food. How? By restricting the amount, by passing on certain comments that make you feel like you're eating too much or you're eating the wrong stuff, or that you're not hungry, you're not supposed to eat, and that you're not doing the right thing. You feel like you are going against something and you are committing a sin. How do they do it? They say weird stuff, but under the guise of being really caring towards you. They might have the nerve to pick food from your plate and put it back in the pot. I have seen that happening. My father used to do that to my mother as well as my sister all the time, and that would make them feel so small. They restrict how much you eat and then say, "Oh, I am doing it for you. I don't want you to gain weight," or the opposite, they might force feed you. I once remember not feeling hungry at all and not wanting to eat anything. He got really angry. I don't know how he took it personally, as if I was criticizing him, because I was not listening. I was saying, "No, I'm not hungry. I don't want to eat right now. I'll eat later." I remember he held my neck and made his hand filled with food and stuffed it in my mouth as if I was a dustbin or something like that. He kept doing that until I puked. I vomited it out. My stomach was not accepting anything at all. And then, instead of soothing me, he hit me, as if I disrespected him by doing something that was beyond my control. Crazy, isn't it? They keep a hawk's eye on what you're eating or not eating. They may make it seem like they don't have a problem, but they'll be like always looking, always watching what you ate, how much you ate. If they're obsessed about saving food, they'll always pass comments and call you ungrateful. You won't be allowed to leave anything on your plate. If you do, oh, you're not thinking about those people who do not get to eat at all. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're wasting food. It's wrong to waste food, but sometimes you don't feel like eating. It's okay. Occasionally it's fine. No, you can't. With a narcissist like this, you can't. It doesn't matter how much they waste in other ways. No, that cannot be counted or talked about. You wasted just a little bit and you are to be punished. Number 5, forced eating in a group like you're part of a cult and you cannot do anything on your own. My father would force it on us to eat together. Eating together is a good thing, you know, that's a family value. It makes you feel like you belong to a group and you feel safe and whatnot. But no, in this case it's all about torture. If you do not eat in a group, then who would they abuse? Who would they shame? Who would they use as a source of supply when eating? Who would they terrify and terrorize? If they were to eat alone, wouldn't they feel really unimportant? Wouldn't they feel abandoned and isolated? Narcissists don't like abandonment. They do not like being ignored. When you do not want to eat with them, they feel like you have rejected them and they do not like it at all. It's like a pact. It's an agreement that you have invisibly signed according to which you will have to eat with them no matter what. No matter how late they are, how they are ignoring you, if you're hungry, it does not matter. If they want to eat, you will have to eat as well, whether or not you're feeling like it. That is my story. How do I know this? It has happened to me. You're never allowed to love food, which is why a lot of survivors then either avoid it, have a very bad relationship with food, become emotional eaters, or just become anorexic. They do not want to eat at all. Food naturally was associated with trauma, so they hate it. Thanks for watching. Remember, awareness is your best defense against narcissists. Stay strong, stay informed, and protect your energy. Until next time.